How's it going today, guys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Radian ADAC AR15 stripped lower receiver. In my opinion, out of all the ambidextrous lower receivers I've seen, this is the best. Radian makes great stuff, from charging handles to their safeties. You can get it in a variety of colors. It is going to run you about $500. That comes with the 45, 90-degree ambidextrous safety. It also comes with your takedown pins and your threaded screw that holds in your detent for your takedown pin. This lower is going to last for a very long time. It is durable and reliable. The two main things I look for a lower receiver is a flared magwell. This one has a very nice flared magwell, but it's not too much. It goes in at a very nice angle, no hard ridges, so your magazine is going to slip right in. What I really like about it as well is it matches the design of your PMags. So it has that same PMag design, very nice touch. The second thing I look for is this fixed trigger guard, or this forged singular piece. I really don't like the lower receivers that you have to manually install the lower trigger guard. It just doesn't look as good, and it's not as comfortable in my opinion. This is very comfortable under here. You're not gonna feel it at all. Sometimes if these don't meet up, your finger can be scraping up against the lower. Another thing on all my rifles that I install is the Radian 45 or 90 degree ambidextrous safety. I always install it on the 45. It's a lot easier to hit rather than when it's in the 90 degree position. I have to kind of reach out and adjust my grip. But with the 45 degree, you can just flick it just like that, and very easy to activate. You don't necessarily need the ambidextrous, but if you're doing long range shooting, most of the time I'll put my thumb on the right side of the gun and then I can activate it that way. If that's something that's not important to you, you don't have to get that, but it is nice that they added that in there. This hasn't gotten in the way for me or anything, so it doesn't bother me having that, but I do prefer to have it just for the long range portion. You have fully ambidextrous controls. You have an oversized Radian bolt catch. The next thing is their takedown pins. This front one is beefed up a little bit and has that ridge so you can grab it. I do like how that's beefed up, that takedown pin. And the back one is pretty skinny. It's not as easy to get to. It's actually a little bit hard to grab with your fingertips, especially with something in there I'll talk about later. But they do have the cool Radian design on there. It says ADAC over on the side. This mag release, I have liked it more than standard mag releases. It just feels better, seems to stick out a little bit more, and the little texture on there feels nice when activating. You still have that design on the right side of the gun. Then you have your bolt release over here as well, your ambidextrous mag release as well. One thing I've been starting to see more is the threaded screw that goes into the back of your receiver to hold in your spring and detent for your takedown pin. Usually, when you don't have that and you're just trying to fight the spring and then put your end plate on, it's definitely more difficult. And then if you take that off, you just have to be careful that it doesn't shoot out somewhere. So having that threaded already is very nice. I do prefer the threaded over the non-threaded. And the last component I will talk about is the upper receiver anti-wobble pin. I would say that's probably the best or coolest part about this lower receiver. That little pin right there pushes up on your upper receiver and holds it a little bit more firm to prevent or lessen the wobble of your upper receiver. I've had this for a while, and the main reason I purchased it was because of the ambidextrous controls, having the bolt release over here. I've realized that I don't really like that being up there. It's really high and up out of the way to where it's harder to hit. I'm actually going to be switching back to the Aero Precision lower receivers, the non-ambidextrous. They just put out an ambidextrous one, but I just went with a standard lower, and I think a better way to have a bolt release over here so you can get faster reloads or lock your bolt to the rear is Magpul makes a bad lever, and I'm sure some of you have heard it. It goes on your standard bolt releases up here. It just hooks on there, and then it drops down at an L shape through your trigger guard. Slap my mag in there, and then the little bad lever will be hanging out right in here. I can just flick that down instead of manually having to press this, and I can save a little bit of time on the reloads. And if you have a malfunction, you can use the bad lever for locking your bolt to the rear as well. So I prefer that being lower, closer to the trigger guard instead of trying to go up here. So I would normally grab it here, but coming up there to hit it, even though this is one of the better ambidextrous bolt releases on the right side, it's pretty big and it's easier to hit in my opinion than some other ones. It's still pretty tough to hit. I mean, I'm holding this here, so even without having another hand, it's still pretty hard to hit. It's doable for sure, but you could definitely save some money. Use the Magpul bad lever. It'd be easier to hit. You're going to save a little bit of time on reloads, and you're going to save hundreds of dollars not having to buy this if that was your reason. I don't think it's necessary for you to buy this if you are looking for ambidextrous controls. Now, if you're a left-handed shooter and you want something like this, I totally understand that. That makes a lot of sense because you're going to want the mag release on the left side. So I totally get that. But for your regular right-handed shooters, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. You can get almost everything that this offers out of a standard arrow lower. You just buy the Magpul bad lever. If you wanted to, you could just swap that out. There is a little threaded piece right there. Another cool thing about this is the threaded bolt catch. Some other older ones have the little roll pin that you have to drive in, so I don't like that as much. The threaded also, again, just makes things a lot easier, but you could swap that out for a standard one and then add the bad lever there. But again, I personally don't like the extra parts. I don't like any extra parts or mechanicals on stuff. It's just more stuff in the way, more stuff to be bumped, more stuff to go wrong. So I try to minimize as much as I can to minimize as many problems as possible. This is a fantastic lower. I do like it a lot, but just out of simplicity and cost and stuff like that, I am going to be switching to the Arrow standard lower. If you guys have any questions or want to see anything specific, feel free to comment down below. And if you want to see more content like this, please like, subscribe, and share to help support the channel. I would really appreciate that. Thanks for watching.